So last night I posted a short where I had pinned myself on the rack and I kind of crushed my throat a little bit. I hurt right below my Adam's apple. I kind of crushed my windpipe a little bit. Messed my voice is even worse than it was before. So that's awesome. I didn't sleep very well last night. I felt like I should make this video because there's we're always harping on safety. Don't ever bench without a spotter. Don't ever bench without safety arms. And I don't, ever. When I go to the commercial gyms, man, you got those standard benches. They don't have spotter arms or anything. Those little bench with the hooks that everyone uses. And I'll see these guys spotting these people, and they're just standing there, and I'm like, man, if he drops that weight, what's that spotter going to do? He might help get it off of him, but it could still crush his neck or break his ribs. And these guys go heavy on those benches too, man. I always drag the bench over to the squat rack and, use the spotter arms. The way I have my bench set up, I have the spotter arms right above my chin, because my chest, when I arch, when I touch the bar, if I drop it, and since my half rack's at an angle, so I got the spotter arm sticking out like that, and my head is usually behind the half rack because I can still push straight up because the half rack's at an angle, so I can push out, have my head behind the rack, and I will go to failure on purpose. I purposely fail and set the bar down. And if you watch the accident, you could see I thought the spotter arms were there, and I set the weight down, so I actually made it worse. Because had I known I didn't have spotter arms, I would have controlled the weight down and then pushed it off of me. But I dropped it, so I actually made it worse than it was. Because luckily the spotter arms were low. I don't know if you can see the bar did rest on the lower arm, so it was still crushing me. But that saved me. If those weren't there, I don't know what would happen. Oh, man, it's one of those things that caused me kind of to reflect on things, Things happen in your life where it's like a wake-up call. Like, holy crap. I do everything safe. I always ask for a spot if I think I'm going to have a problem lifting. I always use spotter arms if I know I'm going to go to failure. I'm a safe lifter, and what it came down to was I got complacent. Because normally we have a checklist. When you're getting ready to set up for a lift, what do? You check your weights, your collars, make sure your rack's set at the right height, you got your arms in place. I didn't do that this time. I took for granted that they were there. I didn't even think about it. And that's what will kill you in construction, in life. Complacency. What happens? We get complacent. We don't want to put our safety glasses on. We don't want to go grab our gloves. You don't want to get tool guards, things of that nature. Like, you're in the middle of doing something, you don't want to stop what you're doing to go get something that's going to make you safe because it's inconvenient, and you've done it a million times and you're not going to get hurt. Just like putting a seatbelt on to drive a couple blocks. And they say most accidents in the cars happen within 5 miles of the home, which is a testament to complacency if you think about it. Because what happens when you're just putting around your neighborhood? You're not even thinking about it. When you're on the freeway, you're driving defensively. But when you're just pulling up to your house, we're usually pretty chill. And it's interesting that when you look at accident statistics, they happen within 5 miles of the home. It's like the closer we get to home, the more complacent we get. Oh, man. I don't know what to say. All I can say is, you guys live safe. We all do. Well, maybe this is a good time to just kind of double check everything, Make sure your routine is solid and that you are thinking of these things before you go heavy, especially when you're lifting by yourself like I do. We all saw the video a few months ago where the guy broke his neck when he was squatting, and there was a guy that went into the gym and he was bench pressing and he pinned himself just like I did right there in this video, but there was nobody around and he wasn't strong enough to get it off his neck, and he suffocated. He sat there and suffocated. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I had that bar on my neck and I was screaming for my wife, and I realized she couldn't hear me or wasn't going to respond, I had a second there where I calmed myself, and I stopped panicking and I thought about things. I thought, what am I going to do? And I realized that I had enough. I was going to give it one last blast and just get myself out of it, which is what I did. But it could have very easily been a little bit too much weight, or I could have crushed my windpipe, or I could have blacked out because I was starting to pass out. I was seeing spots. Lifting can and does kill people, especially heavy lifting. But I know guys. We've all been doing this for a very, very long time, and it is not so dangerous. It can be safe. Most of the accidents that lifters get into are preventable injuries, and it's due to like negligence or ignorance, not knowing how to set up properly, or not paying attention to your setup, like in my case. Very rarely does the actual sport of lifting, when done properly, hurt people. It's always something that we're not doing right. And, let's start this Sunday. Let's start the week off and think about what can we do, to make sure that we're going to be successful for the rest of the year. Those little things. I love you guys. Live safe. I'm probably not going to train today. I think I'm just going to relax and watch cartoons. So, yeah, we'll see.